ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of American Homicide with Jake Ryder. My name is Jake Ryder, and today we are going to get into it pretty quickly. Not a very long episode today. I'm just going to go ahead and cover some things that are kind of near and dear to me. And the reason I want to do that is because lately there's been a lot of trafficking of humans going on, and I don't think there is enough attention to it yet. I really don't think so. And unfortunately, there's been kind of a conspiracy-minded QAnon thing going around where it really kind of almost invalidates some of the claims of child trafficking that's going on. And I really want to bring it back to light so that everyone understands that this is a serious problem. And, there might not be a hidden government secretly fighting it like Hugh says there is. There's not, by the way. I promise you there's not, because you can barely get the real government to give a fuck about it. So I just really want to get this back into the light. So today's solved case is coming out actually from yesterday. And it is absolutely fucking nuts. This story is out of Florida. And this is a case of a missing 13-year-old girl. The abductor's name is Tyler Thompson. And this man is from Orlando, Florida. And it's pretty fucked. It's pretty fucked what happened. So basically, in Volusia County, Florida, the Volusia Sheriff's Office deputy rescued a 13-year-old girl from a motel room with an Orlando man that she had met online. This teenage girl was reported missing by her grandmother after she said that the girl never came home from school and never went to her basketball game after school either. So Deputy Royce James spoke with one of the girl's friends, who said the teen was planning on going to a motel with someone she had met online. The friend told investigators she believed the name of the man started with a T, like possibly Tyler, and that he was from Orlando. And possibly Tyler is a quote, like she said that. So, the friend thought the teen might have been picked up by a man at the Dollar General, according to the sheriff's office. So the sheriff then went to the Dollar General, right, met with the manager, showed him the picture, and they were like, "Did you see this girl?" Manager's like, "Yeah, she was just here. She said she was waiting for someone to get her picked up." So they go to the surveillance office, right, and they saw the girl on the surveillance tape at the Dollar General, and they watched her get into the car with this guy. So the deputy went to literally a ton of motels. Like, hell yeah, dude, good for you, thank you, literally. Tons of hotels, showing the front desk clerks and employees a photo of the missing girl and searching for the day's check-ins for a match. He's looking for anyone with like T, Tyler, Orlando, anything like that, just trying to find where this missing girl was. The sheriff office went to the third motel the sheriff, this guy here, went to the third motel that he searched, and Deputy James saw a guest under the name of Tyler Thompson with an address out of Orlando. So the deputies knocked on the door several times before he answered, and when he did, he was like, "Hey, this is the front desk, we just gotta speak with you for a minute." And he's like, and opens the door, and the sheriff's office sit on the couch, literally like Chris Hansen style, like, "What are you doing here? Take a seat right over there. Take a seat right over there." Sits him down, right? This dude, the 13-year-old girl, literally comes running to the deputy afterwards. Like, you can go watch the dash cam or the chest cam video. It's getting hard to find because a lot of it's getting to be like permissioned out, so it's getting hard to get it to find it with copyrights. But basically, he sits him down and he's like, "Where is she?" And she comes running out of the bedroom, right, where he's been keeping her, and he's like, "How old are you?" And he didn't say a word. And he's like, "How old are you?" Says nothing. And then he's like, "Listen, if I have to say it one more time, I'm going to lose my shit." And then the guy's like, "Fuck, I'm 22, man." And he's like, "Yeah, you done fucked up, man. You done fucked up good." And I love how the deputy handled this. Like, loved it. He pretended to be the motel, like the maid or the front desk or the manager or somebody. And because if it was a sheriff, like, this might have been like, if he was like, "Sheriff's office, open the door," it could have been something way worse. Like, he could have taken her hostage. He could have done all sorts of crazy things. I mean, this dude's already stolen a human being. How much more fucking crazy can you get? And so what this officer deserves so much fucking high fives, like high five here, high five there. He gets on the radio, right, and he's like, "Hey, we need this, like backup or whatever, like something like backup." And he's talking to someone to help him like come in on the scene, right? And the guy on the other end of the radio is like, "How old is the other guy?" And then Deputy James is like, "Too old." And then the guy on the other end is like, all right, I'm coming. And I like that people are done with it. Done. We're done. We're done. Human trafficking, we're done. Absolutely done. Don't fucking steal people. Don't sell them. Or don't pick up people. Like, what are you doing, man? What the fuck? Unfortunately, he was released from the Volusia County jail on Friday after posting a $15,000 bail on his charges, which the charges are like use of computer to lure a child and deprive custody of a minor. So like basically stealing a kid and using a computer to steal a kid, which is exactly what he did. So I'm guessing this dude is going to get locked up for probably only like 5 years, because that seems to be the way things have been going lately, unfortunately. But if I was this little girl's dad, first of all, I don't know how I would feel, because it's like I've seen so many videos of like those experiments with when like parents would hire somebody to like pretend to be an online guy and see if their daughter would meet him out or see if their son would meet him out, and oftentimes they did. And it's because kids are just naturally trusting, man. You got to be careful with your kids. So you're gonna have to really. You can't take away the internet, because the internet is the world now. You just have to really teach them, like, hey, man, here's how account locks work. Here's how 911 works. If you get in a car with someone who you don't know, maybe you took her phone. I don't know, but it's like, dude, scary, but very thankful for Deputy James for his outstanding work. Doing literally hunting him down, like figured that this girl was missing, and he was like, I'm gonna find her, and he hunted this guy down until he got him. Period. Classic James. Shout out James, you're the shit. Royce James of the Volusia County Sheriff's Department. I'm gonna talk to you someday. You're an amazing hero, and I think that more people need to know your name. So. Secondly, the unsolved case that I want to talk about actually has. I've talked to the family of the missing individual, and I've seen firsthand how much. Well, secondhand, I guess. I've seen secondhand how much grief and anger and disappointment and confusion that a family would have when someone goes missing. So today's unsolved story is going to be about Mikayla Bali, and she is from Yorkton, Saskatchewan, and she was only 16 years old when she went missing. She would be 22 years old this year. She disappeared basically in 2016 on April 12th. After leaving her high school. There was numerous sightings as recent as like 2019, but it's believed she may have been abducted by someone she contacted using an anonymous instant messaging app called Kik. Bailey's latest age depiction just shows her at 18, so if you look up like age progression, you can see how she's changed over the years, and it's not very much. She's from 16 to 18 to 22. She's just kind of grown like a normal, like you would think. If you saw her, you would recognize her instantly. You would. She's a very pretty young girl, and it's very unfortunate that something like this happened to her. So on 6:41 a.m. on April 12th, 2016, Mikayla texted her friend Oksana and asked her to drive her to the bank, claiming that she had $5,000 in the bank and that she wanted to take it out. But investigation shows that she had nowhere close to that amount in her bank account. And Oksana said that she couldn't. This was before school, and she was running low on time, so she couldn't drop her off at the bank. So at 8:20 a.m., Mikayla entered Sacred Heart High School, where she attended some classes. She went to her locker, and about 6 minutes later, she exited the school through a back entrance. She walked to a bank between 8:50 and 8:55, and was seen talking to someone on the phone on CCTV footage. When the bank teller opened the shutters, Mikayla quickly ended the call and asked the teller to withdraw $55 from her account. So at 9 a.m., she then went and entered the pawn shop and tried to pawn a silver ring in which the owner refused as it was too low of a price. So if you guys are interested, all of this is on CCTV. You can literally watch her go from place to place and then just disappear. It's maybe that's probably why, because you can watch her disappear. It's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. At 9:15, she entered a combined Tim Hortons and Wendy's, where she ordered a drink. And this was kind of weird because she sat at a booth with her backpack next to her. However, she never carried a backpack to school. She only had a purse, so it appears that she intended to leave Yorkton that night. She'd been looking out the windows in a nervous manner, and she was on the phone for quite a while throughout this. And at 9:23 a.m., she exited through one of the two exits and then came right back in on the other side of the building, right? And then she walked into the Wendy's on the phone with someone who's never been identified. And then she sat back at the booth facing the door. So now she's sitting same booth but looking the other way. At around 10:15, she texted her friend Shelby and said, "Hey, I need help," only to respond later and say, "Never mind, I figured it out." So at then 10:45, Mikayla asked a woman to rent a room at a hotel for her at the Wendy's. So she's at the Wendy's, and she just went over to this lady who was sitting down at like a table and was like, "Hey, can you book me a room?" And this lady's like, "I can't do that for you because you're only 16, and I don't know, like just seems bad, you know." Which is good. If a minor ever comes up to you and goes, "Hey, I need you to book me a hotel room," go, "Okay, sure." And then like, "Can I see your phone real quick? I want to call with your phone. I don't have mine." And then type in "mom," push call, and be like, "Hey, your daughter's trying to have me book a hotel room for her outside of Yorkton. Are you sure about this?" Do something like that, because the kid is obviously being lured, man. It's frustrating for me. Maybe because I have like so many younger siblings and I'm super hyper vigilant. Like, somebody looks at my younger brother the wrong way, I walk up, I'm like, "Hey, what are we looking at him for? Is there something going on here that I should be aware of?" Like, I am so protective that I just couldn't personally, if I saw a minor ask me for help getting a hotel room, there is no good reason for that. No good reason for that, unless it's like your fucking kid or your nephew and you have the parents okay or whatever. Like, that's one thing. But like, if you're at a Wendy's trying to eat your meal and some kid comes up to you offering to, something's going on, and you should probably get somebody's attention, like, even if you have to call the police and be like, "There's an unaccompanied minor asking people to get her a hotel room," so the cops can be like, "What's going on here?" And then when maybe like in front of the police, she can be like maybe she's like afraid to lie to the cop, and she'll just be like, "Okay, I was talking to this guy on my phone and he wants to meet me here," and then they can go arrest this guy. And this whole thing is we don't know what could have happened, but it's just interesting. It's very interesting. So she refused whatever, and Mikayla then stayed on the phone between 10:45 and 11:55 a.m., and no one really knows where she is. But around noon, she entered the school again and met with two friends in the lunchroom, saying she was taking a bus to Regina. It is believed that she had been carrying two cell phones at the time when she was inside of the school, which is scary, because if she has the second phone, then police only have her run phone number, not the second phone. They don't know who the other phone is, so you can't check records to see who she was calling, because this individual was not only using an anonymous app called Kik, but also using a phone that wasn't hers, so the police have no idea, and that's so scary. She entered the school, okay. A little after that, literally like 2 minutes after that, she left the school for the last time and went to a bus depot. So after finding out the bus wouldn't board until 5 p.m., she then left. So I want to say that there was no CCTV at the depot. There was only they brought in pictures, and the workers, multiple people, confirmed that she was in there looking for a bus ticket. So after that, she left, and so the last CCTV of her is leaving school. She rounds the corner away from her school, and she is never to be seen again. It's crazy. So she never came home that night, and she was reported missing that night by her family. And at 7 a.m. the next day, her phone was turned off. Mikayla is not believed to have bought a ticket at the depot, and where she went after that she left there remains completely unknown. So the investigation into it has gone a little bit by the RCMP, but it hasn't gone a whole lot. Mikayla was never heard from physically again from April 12th of that year. However, numerous sightings reported her as recent as 2019. Unfortunately, every time police officers showed up, it was always too late, and the individual in question wasn't there anymore. It was discovered that an Instagram account under Mikayla's name that had hundreds of followers but no activity, and with its bio simply reading "goodbye," that account can no longer be found anywhere on Instagram. So Mikayla did have multiple accounts, according to her friends and family. She did have multiple Snapchat and Instagram and Twitters and stuff like that. So it's kind of hard to keep a grip on all of the accounts, and not everyone knows all of them that she had. So it's tough to know where she got contacted from and how all this went down. And I don't actually know how the authorities believe that it happened to be going through Kik, but they did get information somehow about that. Obviously, some pieces of information are still going to be quiet, but 2 months before she vanished, she made a post on social media with a profile or with a photo of her Snapchat profile with like the QR or whatever, so you can like add her on Snap. And she wrote, "Looking for Snapchat friends because I have none in real life. Add me. Don't be a greasy fuck and send me gross ass nudes. Just looking for a friend." End quote. It's suspected that someone contacted her that day and that Mikayla planned to meet whoever they were that month, possibly in Regina. A man with a flaming cross tattoo was seen with Mikayla, but after further investigation, it turns out that man was just holding the door for her as she entered the building, and is not considered a suspect in her disappearance. Mikayla had apparently been texting a male named Christopher, and she told several friends that he was planning to visit Saskatchewan. Mikayla's ex-boyfriend, who she was still friends with, said that Mikayla had told him that Christopher was planning to visit the Canadian province to see his mother. Police searched Christopher's home, and there is no evidence that he was in Canada during the time that Mikayla went missing. Christopher also told CBC News that Mikayla had previously attempted suicide and that she had become better. Mikayla, okay, something's weird with that. That's weird. I can't be the only one with red flags going up. That's something about that is ringing alarm bells in my head. I feel like Christopher knows some shit. Search his house. I think this guy knows some shit. Mikayla was also reportedly texting with a boy named Josh. Authorities found someone she knew named Josh and that she hasn't seen in years, but this person is not believed to be the Josh that she was texting. So further investigation has revealed that she may have been texting people through an app called Kik, as I was talking about earlier, where your messages can remain completely private, encrypted, and no one can see them. Not even the owners of Kik can break in and see those messages. It's suspected that Mikayla had texted someone through this app and may have met them sometime in April. It's also suspected that she may have been kidnapped by this person and sent into human trafficking. And that is where I then reached out to the family of Mikayla Bali, and I want to read one of the things that she. It's an upsetting. It's upsetting to talk to someone like that because you just know that they're aching for their child to come back, and God, I hope one day she does. If she ever does come back, it's going to be a great day. I almost feel like I'll have to go to Canada and say hi to her for sure. She was actually using an Android cell phone, unfortunately, which is more unfortunate because if you have an Apple phone, you can log in with your Apple ID and it'll synchronize all your data to that other device. So when I reached out, I asked them, hey, it just hasn't been covered yet, so I was just curious if she had an iPhone, because if she does, I think we'll be able to log in. Her parents responded with, thank you for the information. It was an Android phone, and I'm sorry to hear that. And I said some information, and they replied back a couple other things that I don't want to say out loud on the podcast, but basically they're praying that she returns, and I am very much praying for her return too. And if anyone has any information on this, please reach out to the RCMP police in Canada. This is an open case. It is not a closed case, and they will take your information seriously. If you have any idea where Mikayla Bali is, please contact the RCMP or any law enforcement that you know and give it the tip so it can go through the proper channels. This is a real-life case that has real-life consequences on people, and I really hope that one day we can find justice and security for Mikayla Bali.